This video is for those of you that have bought one of these Danco dual flush conversion kits. This particular model is the HYR 460. I installed this in December. It's now the middle of March. And what happened was the float was getting stuck. You could feel it binding when it went up. Actually, right now the lock is on. Take the lock off. But what was happening is the float was getting stuck. I should put this in a cup so you can see that. Try and focus my camera. 3 months old, and this float started to bind. And right now it's even not too bad. I had to take the tank lid off and lift it up because it was binding and overfilling my tank and wasting a lot of water going down the overflow tube. I'm going to pause the camera and I'll show you what I did to fix it. And I'm going to get a hold of Danco and see if they can send me the part that I need for this. Real easy to take apart. Just pop that blue cap off and spin this counterclockwise. This pops out. That pin was binding on that rubber stopper. That's what turns your water off and on. Somehow, I'm not quite sure how that works. But I shoved that toothpick through the hole of that black thing. And that's it. That's all that stops the water. Not quite sure how that part of it works. But I've got it so it's not binding anymore. I wonder how long that little stretch with the toothpick and the vegetable oil will work. I won't know for a long time, because this is my second kit and I bought a third one and I haven't installed them yet. I actually had to take the parts from one of the new kits and fix my first install. I'm not so sure I want to go this route unless this part here is available as a spare. Like, we're talking failure in less than 3.5 months. Thanks, Danco. Hope you're watching. Okay, folks. This video I'm doing is about the Danco HYR 460. Oops. Yes. Reset my camera here. Danco HYR 460. Total repair kit, 2-inch dual flush valve and premium plus fill valve. HYR 460. Failed after 3 months and wasted a ton of water. It saved a bunch of water for the first 3 months though, but bills did drop by about, 4 cubic meters over a 2 months billing period. But what happened the other day was I noticed that this float wasn't coming up and it was overfilling the tank and it was going down the overflow. So I just replaced it with a brand new one because I got 2 of these, 2 more, and that'll be 3. I have 3 toilets in the house and I was going to upgrade the other 2, but I actually had to take parts out of one of the new kits to fix the first one I installed 3 months ago. This one hasn't been opened yet. I'll show you how I fixed it. I want to figure out what happened is this was binding and I looked at that, nothing binding there. Try to figure out where it's binding. Pop this cover off. Don't need tools. And then you take, I'm looking. Nothing here that I could see is binding. Very simple in there. Then you take this, lift it up, spin it counterclockwise. I'm not quite sure how I did that there. Counterclockwise. And this lifts out. No moving parts inside there. The only moving part in there is that little pin going in and out of that rubber. So pop this rubber off. And had a look. No calcium or anything in there. The rubber is swelling. And the hole's getting too small for that pin. So I took a toothpick and I shoved it through that hole and put some cooking oil on it, vegetable oil, And it seems to be not binding now. But is it going to swell some more? Do I need to drill it out? Do I need to ream it out? Do I need to just replace this rubber every 3.5 months? So much for savings. I wish somebody would invent a toilet that works properly and lasts more than 3 months to a year. And that's that. That's ready to be reinstalled. This is the old one that's going with the plunger parts of a new one. Here, I'll take you and show you my toilet. I got the new fill valve installed in my toilet. And that's another thing about this, that plunger thing. No matter what I try on that toilet, I can't get it to do a number 1 flush without having to hold the button. I've adjusted everything back and forth. I tried everything under the sun. I'll show you those adjustments. Hang on a sec. It's right here. I forget which one's which. This is the brand new plunger. They come from the factory with that all the way up, I think it was. I'm not sure which one's for the number 1 and which adjustment's for the number 2. There's also an adjustment here. What I finally did was I raised them both all the way up and left it like that. And I don't use the number 1 flush. Unless I just want to raise the water up a little bit in the bowl, because when the wind blows sometimes it goes down. But no matter how hard I try with this particular toilet, this is the toothpick that I shoved in there. You can see a little bit of rubber black on there. I shoved in there to stretch that hole open a little bit. Let's go over to my toilet and I'll show you that. I used my little buddy there to suck out the remaining water, because no matter what, shut the water off and flush, there's still almost 2 inches of water in there. Now, I'm adjusting this a bit different. As a matter of fact, I left it at default height. This is also adjustable down there for the height up and down. You just give it a quarter turn, not a quarter turn, just a little bit of a turn. Then you can raise it up and down, turn it back, and it locks. That's for different heights of tanks. I had mine way up above, and this thing was actually in the way, sort of thing. And I like it the way it is now, down. And I've got the water just a shade below the fill line. Let's just raise that just a notch by bringing the float up with this adjustment. It'll give me more water. Now watch this with a single flush. It releases right away. No matter what I tried, I can get it to get a little bit more water to go down, but it won't flush. And then it screws up the number 2. Number 2 will flush. And I let go. It actually closes just before it goes down. I'm just going to leave that where it's at. And if I have a big dump, and there's a lot in there, then I'll just push and hold it to use the last little bit, so I'm not dual flushing. That'll be my number 1 flush. And you can see that used about 60% of the water that was in the tank. That's a lot better than the flapper. It does save water. Now watch when I do a flush and hold. That'll really rinse the guy out. That little extra kick to get it to go down the pipe, the solids. So we're back in business. I don't know. I've got 3 different toilets in the house. I don't know if I'm going to have troubles with the other 2, but I'm really getting tired of fixing toilets. Perfect.